attack is being investigated as an act of terrorism as per the Federal Bureau of Investigation. The man driving the vehicle has been identified as Shamsuddin Jabbar, a 42-year-old US citizen from Texas. So far, neither ISIS nor any other foreign terror organization has claimed responsibility for the attack. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, a Tesla Cybertruck that exploded outside the Trump Towers in Las Vegas early Wednesday, killing one person in the vehicle, is being investigated upon as a possible act of terrorism as well, according to the law enforcement agencies. Investigators, however, do not believe there is any other danger to the community right now. The sole person inside that vehicle died, while 7 people suffered minor injuries. As per the police, the explosion was an isolated incident, and they've also said that there is no indication that it was linked to ISIS. It is learnt that the Cybertruck was rented to Matthew Allen Libelberger, an active duty US Army service member who was in fact serving in Germany but was on leave in Colorado at the time of the incident. Tesla and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has called the 2 attacks as terror acts. Meanwhile, outgoing US President Joe Biden has also said that investigators are probing a possible link between the 2 attacks. Meanwhile, even as these 2 incidents are being investigated upon, a 3rd incident in Queens, New York, has also been reported, where at least 11 people were shot at in yet another horrific attack. Now, if we specifically take a look at the 2 incidents, both from New Orleans and also Las Vegas, let's first take a look at what exactly had happened in New Orleans. You can see this particular pickup truck that was ramming, it was driving past this crowd of revelers. We have highlighted this particular truck for you. It just goes past the people and rams into this crowd that was celebrating New Year's. This was in New Orleans that has in fact killed 15 people, 35 people have been injured, and this is right after this incident really took place early on New Year's Day. If we go ahead and take a look at the other incident that's been reported from Las Vegas, you can see a thick plume of cloud explosion and also fireworks that you see there. This is the Tesla Cybertruck really exploding. It had explosives inside. That entire Tesla Cybertruck really contained that impact, and yet we see the loud explosion. This was right outside the Trump Towers in Las Vegas, and that is also the reason why this move is being looked at as a very, very suggestive and possible attack that is in fact saying something. Let's in fact take this across to CNN's Leigh Waldman, who's joining us live from New Orleans. Leigh, I'd like to understand first from you, what is the latest regarding this investigation that is going on as far as the New Orleans and the Las Vegas incident is concerned? All right, we seem to have lost that link with our CNN correspondent. We'll try and re-establish that connection. But in fact, let's take a look at what exactly has happened and what the authorities really are saying about these 3 attacks that have rocked the United States of America. And all this right before Donald Trump is all set to take oath as the next president of United States of America.
A truck hits the corner and comes barreling through people, throwing people like a movie scene, like real life, throwing people into the air. They falling under the car.
Right now, our number 1 goal is to ensure that we have the proper identification of the subject involved in this incident. Following that, our second objective is to determine whether this was an act of terrorism or not.
To all the families of those who are killed, to all those who are injured, to all the people of New Orleans, We're grieving today. I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you.
All right, we have got that link back with my CNN colleague, Leigh Wallman. She is with us on the broadcast. Leigh, first of all, I'd asking you earlier, what is the latest regarding this particular investigation, especially from New Orleans, because there is a possible ISIS connection that we're looking at over here.
Good to be with you. So here it's a very active scene this morning, more than 24 hours after this deadly attack. I want to give you a look at this scene. So this is Canal Street here. You can see law enforcement vehicles. Past that law enforcement vehicle, though, that's Bourbon Street. That's where that pickup truck turned down and started barreling through, killing people in its wake. Now, we've seen several sanitation vehicles turning down that street, clearing the street. Now, we heard from law enforcement yesterday. They said it could be up to 24 or 48 hours rather to clean that street as they work to investigate, but also clean the street to get it ready back open for the public. This is a very big tourist area, so they're working to clean the street and get it back open to the public here. And what we're learning about the man responsible behind this attack, Samsudin Jabbar, he is an Army veteran who lived in Houston. He rented a vehicle, drove from Houston here to New Orleans. Now, throughout the course of his drive, he made a series of recorded videos. And in those videos, he talked about wanting to gather his family for a celebration. He talked about wanting to then kill his family during that celebration. He then said that those plans had changed and he was inspired to join ISIS. That's according to multiple officials who have been briefed on the investigation. According to court records, he had been in a bad financial situation. According to some divorce records, we also know that he had previously pled guilty to 2 charges, including driving under the influence back in 2015.
Right. Also, do the authorities believe that the attack in New Orleans and also what had happened with the Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump Towers in Las Vegas, both of these attacks are related?
At this point, authorities are not saying that these attacks are related. They're saying that there are some similarities, some coincidences between these 2 attacks, but they're not saying that these attacks are related. Some of the coincidences between these 2, both of the suspects are veterans and have military service. Both of the vehicles were rented from the same site. Other than that, they're not saying officially that both of these attacks are linked.
Also, this college football Sugar Bowl game was rescheduled to this evening due to public safety concerns. What will security be looking like as for today?
So that game is supposed to be played today. I was supposed to play it originally yesterday. It was postponed for public safety concerns. It's happening less than a mile from where this attack happened just over 24 hours ago. The public who's attending that game today can expect to see a heavy law enforcement response at this game, more than what was originally anticipated. They're going to have canines that can sniff explosive detections devices that at the game there. We know that New Orleans is going to be hosting the Super Bowl next month. Those mechanical barricades that were malfunctioning and were not in place during New Year's Eve, those will hopefully be in play for the Super Bowl next month. They're working on repairing those, but they are not going to be in play for the Sugar Bowl tonight. But they are hoping to make the public feel at ease when they attend that game tonight, make them feel as safe and secure as possible.
Right, Leigh, thank you so much for all of those inputs there. Leigh Wallman there, taking us through what exactly is the situation there in New Orleans, especially after that attack, which involved a pickup truck that had Shamsuddin Jabbar driving it, ramming into a crowd of revelers that had killed so many people there. Now, who is this attacker in New Orleans incident? Let's take a look at the findings that we have from the investigation. We do know how Shamsuddin Jabbar enlisted in the U.S. Navy in August 2004. He further served in the U.S. Army from 2007 to 2015, we are told, and then he later served as HR and IT specialist in the U.S. Army as well. In fact, joined the Army Reserve as the IT specialist later, and then he held the the rank of the staff sergeant until 2020. He was in fact also deployed in Afghanistan for a year from 2009 to 2010. Now, he was also promoted and he has in fact promoted himself as a real estate agent. This is besides his job as a US veteran, where he claimed to be a real estate agent. Now, if we take a look at the FBI investigation on the ISIS link, considering the bumper truck, the rear bumper also had the ISIS flag really on it. Now we are learning that the suspect here rented this pickup truck from French Quarter. The ISIS flag was recovered from the truck. It was used for this particular attack, and that is very, very evident. And that is also something that he mentioned in his video note, like Lael Waldwolds was just mentioning, that his plans really went haywire, and that's when he decided to go with ISIS. He joined the ISIS. The weapons and explosive devices also were recovered from this particular pickup truck that Jabbar really used to ram into the public. And there is also this finding that more potential explosive devices could be recovered in the French Quarter as well. Now, let's take a look at what is the latest that we are learning from these attacks that have rocked the United States of America, and what do the key prominent figures like the outgoing US president really has to say about it.
More than a dozen people were killed by a man crashing his pickup truck into a crowd in New Orleans on New Year's Day. Several more people were injured by the attack on revelers in the city's French Quarter. Reuters obtained the following of first responders in the aftermath. Some viewers may find graphic. It happened around 3:15 a.m. at the intersection of Canal and Bourbon Streets, a historic tourist destination. An eyewitness said she heard the rev of an engine, a loud impact, then screams.
And debris, just metal, the sound of crunching metal and bodies.
Police say the driver was 42-year-old Shamsuddin Jabbar, an army veteran from Texas. Officers said they found an ISIS flag in the vehicle. Jabbar was said to be in full military gear, subsequently got in a shootout with police and was killed. The incident has prompted an investigation into possible links to terrorist organizations. Investigators say they found weapons and potential explosives in the suspect's vehicle. They also say he may not have acted alone. A search is ongoing for his known associates. Public records show Jabbar worked in real estate in Houston. He had spent 10 years in the US military as a human resources and IT specialist and had been deployed to Afghanistan. US President Joe Biden condemned the attack in a media briefing and revealed more details about Jabbar.
The FBI also reported to me that mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill.
Biden also said investigators were checking for any link to a vehicle explosion outside Trump Tower in Las Vegas, but that no evidence had been found so far. ISIS, also called Islamic State or ISIL, is a Muslim militant group. It once imposed a reign of terror in Iraq and Syria until it collapsed from fighting a US-led coalition. Experts say ISIS has continued to recruit sympathizers online. Following the attack, New Orleans postponed college football's Sugar Bowl, which is played each year on New Year's Day. The city will also be the site of the NFL Super Bowl on February 9th.
Let's now shift our focus back to controversy here in India that is dominating the political spectrum. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be laying the foundation stones for two new campuses of the Delhi University in East and West Delhi on January 3rd that will house colleges named after Hindutva ideologue V.D. Savarkar and late BJP leader Sushma Swaraj. The proposal to name these colleges after the two leaders was cleared at a meeting of the Executive Council way back in 2021. During the meeting, Vice Chancellor Yogesh Singh declared that the names of Savarkar and Swaraj had been finalized for consideration. But on expected lines, the Congress party now is seeing red over the move involving the former's name. Congress has gone on to say that the university should have honoured freedom fighters instead. In response, the BJP and Savarkar's grandson have slammed the Congress over the disrepute the party is yet again bringing to Savarkar. Remember, in the past, during the debate on constitution in the Lok Sabha, leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi had mentioned V.D. Savarkar, alleging that the Hindutva ideologue had said that there is nothing Indian in the constitution. Ever since, the Congress has been seeking to put a lid on the heat generated by Gandhi's remarks after it threatened to derail attempts to forge opposition unity last year. Also, after Congress ally Shiv Sena UBT, worried about its Maharashtra base, raised the matter with Rahul and Sonia Gandhi, an agreement was reached to cool off on Savarkar. And yet, this has not stopped the senior Congress leader Nasir Hussain from raising the matter this time around as well. In fact, interesting to note here is that the Uddhav Sena has demanded a Bharat Ratna for V.D. Savarkar. But in an attempt to keep the pot burning, now NSUI president has written to Prime Minister Narendra Modi demanding that the college be named after Dr. Manmohan Singh instead. So we are asking today, Savarkar honor for Veer opposition, is it really misguided, or is it an attempt by the opposition to keep the nation misguided on V.D. Savarkar?
दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के लिए बहुत ही खुशी और गर्व की बात है कि कल भारत के आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स की आधारशिला रखेंगे। एक तो ईस्ट दिल्ली कैंपस, दूसरा वेस्ट दिल्ली कैंपस और तीसरा सावरकर कॉलेज जो कि रोशनपुरा नजफगढ़ के अंदर एस्टैब्लिश हो रहा है।
BJP is just trying to legitimize them because they don't have any icons of theirs during the freedom struggle.
शिवसेना तो बार बार मांगनी कर रहे, सावरकर ये भारत रत्न इनको देना चाहिए।
महापुरुषों का अपमान यही कांग्रेस पार्टी की बन चुकी है पहचान। फिर से एक बार राहुल गांधी जी ने वीर सावरकर जी का अपमान करवाया है।
Going to my guest joining me this evening, Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. Also with us is Charan Singh Sapra, national spokesperson of the Congress party. Also with us is C.S. Jha, leader of Shiv Sena, the faction. And last but not the least, Uday Mahurkar, who is the author of the book Veer Savarkar and former Chief Information Commissioner. He is also with us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Let me begin with you, Mr. Sapra. What is the reason for this hardlining of stance when it is on the V.D. Savarkar name for the Congress party, sir?
See, let me make it clear that it is not about opposing Savarkar. It is about exposing the ideology of Savarkar and the ideology of RSS, which had been largely anti-Mahatma Gandhi, which had been largely anti-freedom movement initiated by Mahatma Gandhi. Especially, I would like to quote Quit India movement of 1942. And Savarkar and his ideology and RSS, they have been anti-Ambedkar. They have been anti the constitution which was framed by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. They had clearly said that there is nothing Indian in it. They had burned the copies of the Constitution of India. They had burned the effigies of Babasaheb Ambedkar. They have been against the tricolor which was finalized as the national flag. And they did not hoist the national flag for 52 years at their headquarters in Nagpur. And moreover, the fact is, see, the history cannot be erased. History can be distorted by some people who have a malified interest. But the fact is that Savarkar supported the two-nation theory of Jinnah. August 15, 1943, it was Savarkar who said that I have nothing to do with this and I support the two-nation theory. Again, when they had a government in Sindh, Hindu Mahasabha and Muslim League had a government together, the Assembly of Sindh was the first to propose the two-nation theory and Hindu Mahasabha did not oppose it. Savarkar did not oppose it. So this shows the malified intentions of Savarkar. This shows the RSS ideology, the ideology of Hindu Mahasabha, and this shows that somewhere Savarkar was against Mahatma Gandhi, and now BJP and RSS, they want to place Savarkar parallel to Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi has been accorded father of the nation. They want Savarkar to be shown as father of the nation part 2. Congress is not going to allow that. This is the hidden agenda of Bharatiya Janata Party and RSS.
But Mr. Sapra, it was Mahatma Gandhi who had in fact requested for clemency for the Savarkar brothers in the past. That is also part of history. Why is the Congress party choosing to see history in a very, very selective way?
No, it's not about selective way. The fact is that Savarkar had written 6 apology letters or the mercy petitions from the same jail in which another 795 prisoners were there. Why other prisoners did not write? So there are certain things, there are certain arguments on which the RSS or the Bharatiya Janata Party is not able to answer. So the fact is that the mercy petitions were written, the apology letters were written, Savarkar had supported the Britishers, and it is also the fact that Savarkar was admitting Indian and the RSS people in British army and not in the army of Subhash Chandra Bose, the Azad Hind Fauj. This is also the fact. That's why I said that history cannot be erased. History can be distorted, which the BJP and RSS is trying to do.
Okay, Mr. Siddharth Yadav, your response to what the member of the Congress party is saying, and also the fact that Congress leader Mr. Hussain went on to say that the naming of the college should have been after a freedom fighter who's actually fought for the freedom of the country. How does the BJP respond to this?
First of all, I think whatever Mr. Sapra was saying either was rhetoric or was falsehood. The Congress party is, in a fix that they cannot get out of the phenomenon of the Nehru family. They cannot think anybody to be a freedom fighter other than Jawaharlal Nehru or anybody who has been with the family, and that is why stalwarts and freedom fighters like B.R. Ambedkar, Subhash Chandra Bose have always been undermined over the history. The same was the case with Veer Savarkar. Now, I will only ask 2 questions. Point number 1, one point you raised that Mahatma Gandhi had also asked for clemency of these Savarkar brothers. In 1980, Indira Gandhi, the leader of Congress party, the prime minister of the country, wrote a letter, and she writes that Savarkar is a remarkable son of the soil. That's what she writes. She writes that she wishes to celebrate the year that Savarkar, and I wish to quote her. And she says that it is important that how the Veer Savarkar is daring defiance of the British government has its own importance in the annals of our freedom movement. I wish to celebrate the birth centenary of this remarkable son of India. Now, either Indira Gandhi ji was right, or today Sapra ji or Rahul Gandhi is right. But what has lately happened with the Congress party is that they have become, in a fix of being ideologically hollow. They are willing to find villains of India whom they wish to place and then abuse over the years. Now, if Veer Savarkar is not a freedom fighter, Veer Savarkar is not someone who has contributed in the freedom struggle, then who has? He was one person who was given 2 times life imprisonment of the Kalapani jail. You tell me one Congress leader who has done so? One freedom fighter who was given that punishment? One freedom fighter who dedicated his life for the freedom struggle? What are the compulsions? What are, I'll just complete in 10 seconds. Yes. I wish to ask that what are the compulsions of the Congress party today that you wish to undermine such a son of India? And when you say that he was the one who signed a mercy petition or who, seeked mercy or who apologized, I wish to quote Jawaharlal Nehru from his own autobiography of 1961. On page number 116, Jawaharlal Nehru writes that after being jailed for 12 days, I was ashamed of entering the jail. I apologized. He apologized in the contempt of court apology in 1921. Jawaharlal Nehru did an apology, wrote an apology, that was fine. But Veer Savarkar had to write in the circumstances. You wish to hide the history. You have hidden the history from the youth, from the people of this country. You have manipulated it for over the years for your own convenience to only highlight contributions or a single man or a single family.
The question comes back to the Congress party, Mr. Sapra, that it is selective reading of history. There is one instance that Mr. Yadav has spoken about where Indira Gandhi has praised V.D. Savarkar for being a remarkable son of the soil, to Sonia Gandhi really claiming that if at all a picture of Savarkar is adorning the walls of the parliament, that is a waste of space. How did that entire view of the Congress party go from what Indira Gandhi used to think or what Mahatma Gandhi used to think to what Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi really claim about V.D. Savarkar at the moment to what is happening now? Why has it become so?
See, again, I would like to say that the history cannot be erased. Now, whatever Indraji has written or Indraji has said or whatever you have quoted about Sonia Gandhi ji, that does not absolve V.D. Savarkar from the fact what I said that on 15th August 1943, he had supported Jinnah for the two-nation theory. That is also the fact. And there is also a fact when the Sindh province passed the first resolution of two-nation theory, it was Hindu Mahasabha which supported, it was Veer Savarkar who supported. That's what I'm trying to say. It was the inspiration of Savarkar that compelled Godse or inspired Godse to.
I would like to step in now.
That's why there was a trial.
You must bring some voices
there
who
was
can
a
speak
trial
with authority.
and Savarkar had to go through a prolonged
You have to bring in
trial.
voices who can speak with some
Savarkar had to
authority.
go through a prolonged trial. So these are also the facts which cannot be erased in the history. So that is what we are trying to say. The hidden agenda of RSS and Bharatiya Janata Party today is to place Savarkar parallel to Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi is father of the nation. They want Savarkar to be father of the nation part 2. That's the whole fact. And this is the hidden agenda.
I'll come to you, Mr. Yadav. Let me actually bring in Mr. Uday Mahurkar. Mr. Mahurkar, isn't it true, and what the Congress member is saying, that there are attempts that are being made by RSS and Bharatiya Janata Party to equate V.D. Savarkar with the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi? In fact, make Savarkar the father of the nation instead. That is what the hidden agenda is. But isn't it true that Mahatma Gandhi really said that that V.D. Savarkar is in jail for loving the country too much? These are also the words of the father of the nation. So how does one see the politics around V.D. Savarkar in the current sphere?
You see, if there is anyone who is distorting history, it is the Congress.
Okay.
It is Rahul Gandhi. It is my friend who has joined me in this debate. Let me tell you one thing. Savarkar's apologies were very, very different. He made it very clear. He has not hidden it. It is there in two of his books, and he has said that I apologize because I am a revolutionary. I am not the follower of Mahatma Gandhi. I am a revolutionary. Therefore, my first job is to come out of the jail and start the fight again to dethrone the British from this country. And Sachindranath Sanyal, the great revolutionary, he followed Savarkar's advice. Savarkar is to tell his fellow revolutionaries, look here, we are followers of Shivaji. We have to use Chanakya Niti. So Savarkar's apologies have to be seen in the backdrop of Chanakya Niti. One. Two, in 1945, Lord Wavell called the Shimla conference to discuss the issue of partition. The only party he did not invite was Hindu Mahasabha and Savarkar. And when the executive member of the Viceroy's Council, N.B. Khare, when he asked Lord Wavell, all these things are properly quoted in my book. When N.B. Khare asked Lord Wavell, why have you not invited Hindu Mahasabha and Savarkar? He said they are greater enemies of the British than the Congress. This is 1945. So, you see, the basic thing is that Savarkar was opposing the Muslim appeasement policies of the Congress as well as the British. He was doing two things. And today's Congress is totally surrendered to Muslim vote bank politics, to radical Muslims.
We will come back to the vote bank politics bit in just a bit.
Let me finish.
All right, please go ahead. 10 seconds.
Supports Taliban, he supports Rahul Gandhi also. He supports Congress also. So, Veer Savarkar is the greatest opponent of Muslim vote bank politics, and therefore he is a tool for Congress for getting Muslim votes.
So you are saying that he did advocate for Jinnah's two-nation theory?
No, not at all. Not at all. If there was this is totally out of context.
Okay.
It was Savarkar who said in his 1937 speech when he took over as president of Hindu Mahasabha that the Congress Muslim vote bank politics can lead to partition. He was the first person who foresaw partition 10 years before it happened.
Okay,
Therefore,
Mr. C.S. Jha, Mr. C.S.
whatever
Jha,
is
let me
being-
bring you.
whatever is being said
All right,
against
all
Savarkar
right.
is
Let me
totally
actually
wrong.
get the fourth speaker a chance now, Mr. Savarkar. You've had your chance, Mr. Jha. You know, there was a suggestion that was made by Uddhav Thackeray in the past, both the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Congress Party, to look at the future and stop harping on Nehru and Savarkar. What will you say to what is the discourse at the moment, sir?
See, we have always raised objections with regard to any kind of defame or distortions upon the historical persons being brought by any of the parties, and we have also raised opposition of the Congress on raising the issue of Veer Savarkar. And we have continuously been saying that you should not speak on Veer Savarkar. We have raised the issue to the central government also that Veer Savarkar should be given Bharat Ratna, and it was from long time being pending and it has not been given, and it shows the category and the elections importance to the BJP and nothing else. So when the elections come, they rake the issues of historical persons or any kind of history and any kind of distortions being done by them. We did not discuss any distortions in the history. We are complying with the history, and history shows the way. So the interpretations being done by BJP in their own way, by Congress being done in their own way. So continuously, you cannot defame any historical person. They are being there because of which we are seeing the sunrise in our country, and we are not in any kind of boundaries. We are seeing the progress in the country. So these issues should be kept apart. There are many issues which have to be raked up in favor of the public, because the public is suffering right now. We should raise the issues with regard to public. We should not go and distort the history. Third thing is that
So,
when
who
the
is
elections
distorting the
come,
history?
see, the BJP is distorting the history in accordance with their own whims. Congress is also doing it because we are seeing the objections coming from Congress with regard to Veer
No,
Savarkar.
so you're saying
in-
Congress is distorting the history, or they are selectively reading history? They're choosing to only pick up parts that benefit them.
See, speaking on distortion of history, you cannot be selective. Distortion comes from both the parts,
Okay.
by the BJP as well as Congress. We have always honored Veer Savarkar. We have always honored Jawaharlal Nehru. We have honored Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. We have honored Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. We don't want to distort any kind of history. Selective distortion cannot be there, because distortion happens with an intention to distort the history to do or gain politically.
Okay.
This is the reason main behind it, and we are not giving any support to any of the parties with regard to it. And we are continuously been saying that Bharat Ratna should be given to Veer Savarkar, but it has never been given by BJP for
Okay.
last 11 years.
So, Mr.
If you see-
Yadav, fingers are being pointed at the Bharatiya Janata Party. This honor that the BJP or the central government suggests that it is giving to VD Savarkar isn't enough, is what the Shiv Sena Uddhav faction really is claiming. That naming a college after Veer Savarkar really not enough. Why not a Bharat Ratna?
No, I asked my friend from the Uddhav Sena faction that is it really the stance of the Uddhav Sena faction that we are distorting history? Are they really sure about it? Because
I've already asked that question. I want to understand why not a Bharat Ratna is the question that Uddhav Sena is asking. How would the BJP respond to that?
And definitely, if whatever due course has to happen, whatever samman, whatever recognition has to be given to our freedom fighters, it is going to be given, and definitely only under the Bharatiya Janata Party. Because let me tell you a fact, before 2001, there were only two definitive stamps of the Indian Postal Services. One was Jawaharlal Nehru, one was for Indira Gandhi. We were the ones who introduced for B.R. Ambedkar in 2001, for Subhash Chandra Bose. The Congress party has historically never recognized any freedom fighter, never given any due share. But I'm amazed by the question that my friend from Shiv Sena Uddhav faction is asking, because they are standing with people who call Veer Savarkar as anti-national, who call Veer Savarkar is not even a freedom fighter. And then they ask the Bharatiya Janata Party. First ask your alliance partner. You fought an election with them. You are saying that Veer Savarkar, requires due credit.
Let
but
them
the
come
people
in
that
power,
you are
we'll
fighting
ask
the
them
election
also.
with, they are not giving due credit. But this is point number one. And let me also correct, because in the last time while my friend from Congress was speaking, he was incorrectly misquoting Savarkar by saying that he was in support of the two-nation theory. I categorically reject it. because he made it very clear in the presidential address at the Hindu Mahasabha in 1937. He was a critique of the Lahore Resolution in 1940 at multiple occasions. He was always advocating for a unified India. But what exactly B.R. Ambedkar has spoken for Jawaharlal Nehru when it comes down to partition must be read by my friend from Congress. He said that Jinnah and Nehru both were equally responsible. So when you have to get down into history, go into all fractions. Just do not, misread it, and do not try to conveniently, read the parts which are convenient to you. But rather, even if you do so, do not label a freedom fighter who gave his life for India as anti-national.
Okay, Mr. Yadav, point taken. But you have also very conveniently digressed from the question that I asked you. Why not a Bharat Ratna for V.D. Savarkar?
No, I have not. I have told you that the government will take appropriate decision on such issues. Now, Bharat Ratna has to be given, cannot be decided on a CNN 6 p.m. show. The Bharat Ratna will be decided by the cabinet of this country.
No, I am asking you only because the BJP agitates a lot when the Congress party says anything about Veer Savarkar. So, if the cause of Veer Savarkar is so close to Bharatiya Janata Party, why not a national honor for him? And why is it so delayed?
Griha, nobody is saying no to that question. Nobody is saying no. I, sitting on your television show, I am saying that, is that correct? Today, one college is being named after Veer Savarkar and you see the reactions. You see the reactions. Today, when college is being made, what is the Congress party responding? How is the Uddhav Sena faction is in a fix? What are the reactions from all such political parties coming up? We are open for all recognition, for all samman that our freedom fighters require. We will do so because we are not biased to one political family.
Okay, Mr. Sapra, why is the Congress party so rattled with just a naming of a college after V.D. Savarkar? Of course, he was part of India's freedom struggle. Now, we've also had the NSUI president write to Prime Minister Modi saying that name it after Dr. Manmohan Singh instead. I mean, the Congress party is not ready to let go of that entire controversy that you guys raked up with asking for a memorial for Dr. Singh. Now that is in consideration, this is another agenda that the Congress party is looking at. Is that so?
No, Riya, not exactly. Let me first correct my friend from Bharatiya Janata Party, whereby he was quoting Savarkar from 1937. What I am quoting is 15th August 1943 at Nagpur. What Savarkar had said about two-nation theory, and he had supported Jinnah. That's what I am saying. Maybe he is not aware of it.
Okay.
Secondly, when he is saying that Congress has not honored other freedom fighters or other nationalist people, let me remind him that in 1966, it was Congress party who had erected the statue of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar in the parliament premises, which BJP doesn't know and they don't speak also. So let us put that to rest. Now I am coming to your question, which you said. See, NSUI.
No, in 1944, Savarkar had conveyed the.
One moment.
Mr. Savarkar, I'll come to you. Wait your turn, please, sir.
Now, I never interrupted.
Yes,
44, talk about 44.
Mr. Savarkar, I'll come to you. You'll make your point when the time is right. Sir, please wait your turn. Mr. Mahurkar, please wait your turn. Yes, Mr. Sapra. Mr. Sapra.
You are an author. Please keep quiet. You are not
Mr. Sapra, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Mahurkar.
Why should I keep quiet?
Yeah.
Okay, let's not interject one another. I am here to steer the debate. Mr. Sapra, please make your point. Mr.
Mahurkar also.
No. I am here to do the interjection, sir. Mr. Sapra, please complete your point. Don't directly speak to other speakers. Don't do that. No.
If NSUI,
you read my book.
If NSUI,
and challenge it in the
Mr. Mahurkar, let him make his point.
Again, read his book. Now, leaving your debate aside, I should read his book.
Mr. Mahurkar, let him make his point. You will respond it at your time, sir.
Keep the debate if
you are betting for RSS.
All right, Mr. Sapra, are you completing your point, sir? We just have 2 minutes on this broadcast. Please.
If President has written about Dr. Manmohan Singh, he has rightfully done. We have freedom of expression. He has expressed. And this is not only NSUI president.
So I want to understand from you, Mr. Sapra.
People who believe in Dr. Manmohan Singh who also want this.
I want to understand from you that is the only honor you need for late Dr. Manmohan Singh, a naming of a college, or you think that the agenda that you started with the memorial conversation, now that the government has put out an official word that they are considering that, so that point is away from the entire dialogue and discussion, and you think you're not able to corner the central government over it, and that's why you've raked this up, and the NSUI president has written to the Prime Minister. Why suddenly bring up Dr. Manmohan Singh's name in this?
नहीं, दे आर कंसिडरिंग दैट, मतलब क्या मेहरबानी कर रहे हैं क्या डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह पे या कांग्रेस पार्टी पे? निगम बोर्ड घाट पर आपने जो करके उनका फ्यूनरल किया है, आपने उनका अपमान किया है, और अगर अभी आप मेमोरियल वगैरह ये अनाउंस कर रहे हो तो ये सारी चीजें पहले हो जानी चाहिए थी, और मेमोरियल वही बनना चाहिए था जहां पर फॉर्मर प्राइम मिनिस्टर का क्रिमेट हुए हैं. सो दिस गवर्नमेंट, यू नो, इट्स अ डबल फेस्ड गवर्नमेंट. इनकी कथनी और करनी में फर्क है. दे आर गेटिंग सेल्फ एक्सपोज एंड पीपल ऑफ इंडिया वॉचिंग देम. They have a different agenda. They have a defined agenda of RSS and Hindu Mahasabha, which the BJP
Okay,
current
Mr. Savarkar, you can make your point now.
In the country.
No. You see, then let me intervene in this also, you know. I think Mr. Sapra should read Sanjay Bharow's book as to how, when he was Prime Minister, Manmohan Singh was, the way he was treated by Congress family, Congress first family. I think you should read that book by Sanjay Bharu.
No, first I would like to know
Mr.
which
Sabra,
book you have
didn't you
written.
have your chance, sir?
First,
Let
I
him
would
make
like
his
to know
point now.
which book you have written.
Mr. Savarkar,
no,
I
he was
introduced
also
the book that he has
rejecting,
written.
Why
Mr.
I-
Sabra,
he was
please, let's
also
not make
getting
personal comments.
excited.
Mr.
Complete
No, Mr.
distortion
Savarkar,
of
please
history.
go ahead.
Please,
Please.
please let me know which
Mr.
book
Sabra,
he has
please.
written, so I will buy that
Mr.
book and
Sabra,
I will read.
I supported you
I
to
would
make
also
your
like to
point.
know
Kindly
that how
let
close
him
is Mr.
speak,
Savarkar
sir.
to RSS. He is acting like a cheerleader
Okay.
of RSS.
All right.
That's why.
It cannot be a shouting match. I'd have to actually wrap it up because the two speakers here want to really have a one-to-one. But that entire controversy associated with V.D. Savarkar refuses to die down, even as one of the Congress allies, that is the Shiv Sena, UBT, is not very happy about this particular discourse. They claim that both the BJP and the Congress are choosing to distort history to their pleasing. With that, I am in fact going into a very short break, but coming up on the other side, the missing pen drive, no CCTV camera, shocking revelations in the open AI whistleblower Suchir Balaji's death case. CNN News 18 has spoken to the investigative journalist in this particular case, who's also alleged foul play. All that after this very short break.
सर ने जो टर्म
All right, moving on to more news from United States. 15 people were killed and at least 35 injured after a man drove into large crowd in New Orleans, Louisiana in the early hours of New Year's Day. At about 3:15 local time on New Year's Day, a Ford pickup truck rammed into crowd gathered on Bourbon Street in the heart of New Orleans, and French Quarters is where the incident has happened. And the CCTV footage shows a white Ford F-150 lightning vehicle driving onto the pavement to get around a police car before hitting the pedestrians. Now, police described the act as very intentional, adding that the attacker, identified as Samshuddin Jabbar, was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. I'm now joined by my colleague Akansha Swaroop on this broadcast. Akansha, give us more detail about this accused. What was his plan really when he rammed into this particular area?
A very good morning, Sharon. It's deeply tragic that the new year for Americans has begun on such a tragic, horrifying note. This entire incident is being treated as a terrorist act. Also, not to forget the fact that we're looking at this entire incident that 15 people have been declared dead. Now, the FBI, which is also going to be, is already investigating this entire matter, will be able to establish the motive better. But it's important to highlight that this person entered the U.S. border just 2 days ago, and which is why the U.S. President-elect has also, in fact, denounced this entire incident as an act of terrorism. He's also gone on to condemn and blame it on illegal immigration, remember, which was a very crucial issue during his own election campaigning. And he's gone on to react by saying that when I say that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a record level, but nobody has ever seen. Our hearts with all the innocent victims. And that's what he's now questioning, that how is such illegal immigration taking place, because this man entered the U.S. border 2 days prior to the attack through Texas. At the same time, the outgoing President Joe Biden has been also blasted for his tone-deaf reaction, because soon after the terror incident, the first tweet coming in from the U.S. President was "Happy New Year, folks." And soon after, he was trolled, which is when he started reacting to the incident, and he's also gone on to talk about how he's already been briefed regarding the horrific incident that occurred in New Orleans. The FBI is taking the lead in the investigation and is investigating this entire act of terrorism. So, as far as these are the reactions, but the fact of the matter remains, Sharon, we've seen a similar incident happen where again it was an immigrant who had done it from Saudi Arabia in that Christmas market in Germany. So, yes, we'll have to see how Donald Trump now, the incoming new administration in the White House, responds to immigration. They're certainly going to be cracking the whip as far as illegal immigrants are concerned.
Akansha, I request you to please stay with us as we are getting a reaction from US President Joe Biden on this incident.
To all the families of those who are killed, to all those who are injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal in the weeks to come.
Akansha, like you also mentioned earlier, that how the accused had just entered US through Texas just 2 days back, and like you also mentioned that similar incident happened in Germany as well. At that point of time also, we discussed how the refugees restrictions are going to, of course, increase. There's, of course, going to a debate about how the refugees or the outsider enter the country. This is further going to, of course, escalate the entire debate over the issue.
Oh, absolutely it is, because Sharon, let's, apart from Germany, if you focus on what's been happening in the United States, just days ago, a lady was in fact burnt alive in the subway trains in New York City, and that was also done by an immigrant from Guatemala. He's in fact the identity of that person is he's a Guatemalan, and that again has given more ammunition to Donald Trump, the U.S. President-elect, to talk about it, and we'll have to in fact see what exactly was the motive of this terrorist who's involved in the New Orleans incident. As I've been mentioning, he crossed the border in his truck through Eagle Pass in Texas just 2 days ago. So it clearly seems that he wanted to disrupt these activities, because Bourbon Street, which is where this entire incident happened, is known to be a tourist hotspot. It's known for its nightlife. So you only had these innocent New Year revelers who were there, these party goers, 30 of them injured, 15 dead, deeply, deeply tragic incident, that too on New Year's.
He is an investigative journalist. His name is George Webb. He is perhaps somebody who visited the apartment where dead body of Suchir Balaji was found on November 26. George Webb went to that apartment along with Suchir Balaji's parents. Perhaps he has an expertise over examining the crime scene and also doing investigation in criminal matters. And he was there at the apartment, the crime scene, and perhaps he has his own analysis and perhaps his own opinion on what has happened, what might have happened on 26 November.
I think the two parents, the mother and the father of Suchir, and myself all agree that it's a murder. The blood evidence shows that, I believe. And what I want to do is share that with experts and then share it also with Elon Musk so that they can see the blood patterns that we see. But there's four key areas of blood. One is blood that sort of falls like raindrops around a sink, around a bathroom sink.
Okay.
There's a second. Group or pool of blood that's a long, about 3 inches wide, about a foot long. Then there's a third pool of blood, which is about twice that width and also about a foot long. And then there's about another very large pool of blood as the person, it looks like they're crawling out of the bathroom, spilling out into the living area of the 835-foot apartment. The gunshot forensics are between the eyes, over the right eyebrow, missing the brain. This is a person who misses his own brain, which is you don't do if you're trying to commit suicide. And then the bullet doesn't have an exit wound. It lodges in the back of the vertebra between the C1 process and the C2, or dens, they call it, the top of the vertebrae. So there's no suicide note. He had talked to the parents, to the father, after having a meal at 6:35 after he got back from a hiking trip. You can see his camping gear that he put on the floor. And he's dead by next morning. He had a meeting coming up with the New York Times. He had a meeting come up with another set of lawyers for another lawsuit. He had been just named 4 days earlier in the New York Times lawsuit. He had just done an expose for the New York Times on how the copyright issues with OpenAI on the 26th. So there's a lot of timing here that's very odd. And then a lot of the people on his hiking trip in Los Angeles, the four other men that he knew since high school, all said he was in great spirits. So that doesn't make any sense. And so it looks to me very much like a murder, and somebody who was, what the second autopsy said was he was forced to sit after bleeding with these raindrops. It looks like he was hit. He had 2 earbuds in his ear. One of the earbuds was under the sink. The other one was all the way out by the blood. Again, it looked like he was listening to music or something. And he had his one of those flossing devices for cleaning your teeth. That was knocked out of his mouth. That's not something you do right before you shoot yourself. And his fingernail clippers were out, so he was clipping his fingers. The house was ransacked then later. It looked like somebody had gone through their whole house and open all these doors and so forth. There's no need to do that. If you're going to commit suicide, there's no need to ransack your own house. So it looked like someone was looking for a thumb drive. The parents said the thumb drive was missing. They have the laptop. They have his laptop, and they have his phone, and it's currently right now in a safe deposit box because it's involved in 4 different lawsuits.
What kind of tool has been used to hit him? Whether it's some sharp object, or have you been able to establish that in your investigation?
Well, there was a bag,
okay,
and you can clearly see a red bag in. It looks like it has a hole in it so that it fired the gun, and maybe that's why the lack of powder burns. But the bag looked like it was maybe used to hit him with a blunt force with a pistol whip. It looked like maybe there was a second every time the blood pools change. It looks like maybe that's another pistol whipping. There could have been up to 3 pistol whippings. And then the bag is left after the 3rd pistol whipping right by the corner of the door jamb.
Okay. So he was hit from behind.
That's my understanding. Well, that's what I see. Raindrop blood samples. There's a little bit of blood up on the sink where he was looked like he was listening to music and at the same time, flossing his teeth. There's a garbage can that's knocked over in that direction, so it looks like he's hit from behind, and then he falls to his left and he knocks over a small 1 foot tall stainless steel garbage can, and the flossing thing comes out. Just a little bit of blood there, but then it looks like he's forced to sit, and then he's killed in the sitting position. And that's what the doctor's opinion was. And then it looks like he's trying to crawl out to help. We did find one spot that's about 8 feet further, which is just one blood stain near his backpack, and we're trying to get forensics to look at that as well.
So, do you think that that blood stain is not of Suchar Balaji? It is of somebody else?
It might be. We don't know. But I wanted to alert the parents' attention to it because I think it's so far away from the other blood pools that it might be the person trying to get away. I think that whoever subdued him and killed him then did a search of the apartment. They went, you could see they opened up every drawer, they pull out they go through his backpacks, they go through anything that could hold anything. They went through all of the drawers in the bathroom. They kind of pull out everything out of his closet as well. So it looks like somebody was looking for the pen drive or the thumb drive, and the pen drive and thumb drive is no longer there. Well,
Co-powered by
All right, moving on to more news from United States. 15 people were killed and at least 35 injured after a man drove into large crowd in New Orleans, Louisiana in the early hours of New Year's Day. At about 3:15 local time on New Year's Day, a Ford pickup truck rammed into crowd gathered on Bourbon Street in the heart of New Orleans, and French Quarters is where the incident has happened. And the CCTV footage shows a white Ford F-150 Lightning vehicle driving onto the pavement to get around a police car before hitting the pedestrians. Now, police described the act as very intentional, adding that the attacker, identified as Samshuddin Jabbar, was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. I'm now joined by my colleague Akansha Swaroop on this broadcast. Akansha, give us more detail about this accused. What was his plan really when he rammed into this particular area?
A very good morning, Sharon. It's deeply tragic that the new year for Americans has begun on such a tragic, horrifying note. This entire incident is being treated as a terrorist act. Also, not to forget the fact that we're looking at this entire incident that 15 people have been declared dead. Now, the FBI, which is also going to is already investigating this entire matter, will be able to establish the motive better. But it's important to highlight that this person entered the U.S. border just 2 days ago, and which is why the U.S. President-elect has also, in fact, denounced this entire incident as an act of terrorism. He's also gone on to condemn and blame it on illegal immigration, remember, which was a very crucial issue during his own election campaigning. And he's gone on to react by saying that when I say that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a record level, but nobody has ever seen. Our hearts with all the innocent victims. And that's what he's now questioning, that how is such illegal immigration taking place, because this man entered the U.S. border 2 days prior to the attack through Texas. At the same time, the outgoing President, Joe Biden, has been also blasted for his tone-deaf reaction because soon after the terror incident, the first tweet coming in from the U.S. President was Happy New Year, folks. And soon after, he was trolled, which is when he started reacting to the incident. And he's also gone on to talk about how he's already been briefed regarding the horrific incident that occurred in New Orleans. The FBI is taking the lead in the investigation and is investigating this entire act of terrorism. So, as far as these are the reactions, but the fact of the matter remains, Sharon, we've seen a similar incident happen where again it was an immigrant who had done it from Saudi Arabia in that Christmas market in Germany. So, yes, we'll have to see how Donald Trump now, the incoming new administration in the White House, responds to immigration. They're certainly going to be cracking the whip as far as illegal immigrants are concerned.
Akansha, I request you to please stay with us as we are getting a reaction from US President Joe Biden on this incident.
To all the families of those who were killed, to all those who were injured, to all the people of New Orleans who are grieving today, I want you to know, I grieve with you. Our nation grieves with you. We're going to stand with you as you mourn and as you heal.
Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning in this evening. We are coming to you live from CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. While you're watching Right Stand with me, Prithween Valia, and viewers, the Sanatan storm stands ignited once again, with Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan not just stirring a controversy but also standing